A very warm welcome in the class where our topic is chain rule. This is under the discussion of function of several variables. Myself Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, JIS College of Engineering. We know that this chain rule is not the new thing for you, because when you are dealing the problems of differentiation chapter in your 11-12 days, which is related to the function of single variable, it is also connected over there, and you got the introduction of chain rule, the application of chain rule over there. But our topic for today's discussion is related to function of several variables. So the prerequisites are firstly the concept of function of single variable, and obviously the related differentiability of the function of single variable associated with that. And then obviously we have to brush up the idea of function of several variables and the concepts related to limit, continuity, differentiability, and obviously the new tool what you have learned in the previous classes, that is partial differentiation. These are the prerequisites of today's class, that means the chain rule. Obviously this chain rule is associated with the differentiability of the function of several variables. So in the context of prerequisites, we need function of single variable, function of several variables means the concepts of them, then limit, continuity, and how to calculate them, what are the measuring tools of this, and finally the partial differentiation. So now we are coming in the class directly. This class requires a very top level attention, because initially this class requires a very clear concept of the function of several variables, and obviously then we are going to solve some problems where we are going to use these tools. So let us start it. And what we see, that if we take w is equal to fx, so if w is equal to fx is considered, that means what we see, that it is a function of single variable. And if it is differentiable function of x, and where x is a function of t, both of them are function of single variable, and it is differentiable function of t, then w is differentiable function of t. So w is associated with x and x is associated with t, so we are considering that w is associated with t, and this association in terms of differentiation, so we are claiming that w is a differentiable function of t. So dw dt can be calculated, and what is the formula? This formula is known to you, that dw dt is dw dx into dx dt, as if this dx and this dx is balancing the thing, and you are getting dw dt, and you know that there is no way of cancelling it out, because this is not multiplication and this is not division, that dw by dx is not the concept, and it is not dx by dt. Basically dw dx is the notation of differentiation of w with respect to x. I know that all of you knows. Still it is my responsibility to discuss this, because sometimes you see these types of mistakes where students are using these types of unorthodox symbols. So now proceeding further, if we want to extend our idea of chain rule from function of single variable to function of several variables, then chain rule for functions of two independent variables means we are now considering f x y, x and y both are independent variables. So our assumption is that if w is equal to f of xy is differentiable, where x is a function of t and y is a function of t, they are differentiable functions of t, then the composite w that is f of xy. In place of x and y we can write xt and yt. So it will be f of xt yt. Look at this, there is a relationship already established between f and t, w and t, and it is differentiable function of t. Like this, just the extension is that where f is the function of x only in the previous case, and now f is a function of x and y both. So how to calculate dw dt? So dw dt will be calculated. I think this symbol is very much clear to you. Fx is nothing but, it was discussed that fx is nothing but del f del x. Okay. Similarly, fy is nothing but del f del y. So this is del f del x into dx dt. Now one thing must be clear, that why we are writing in the first part del and the second part d. The answer is something like that. F is a function of x and y both. So when you are differentiating it, the question is coming that you are doing the partial differentiation, and you are doing the partial differentiation with respect to whom? So initially you are saying that you are doing the partial differentiation with respect to x. So obviously you have to denote it by fx, that is del f del x. But for the next case, when x is differentiated to t, x is represented as this. X is a function of t only. So when the question of differentiation comes, then this one will be dx dt. That is why it is dx dt. So initially these types of structure has to be very much conceptually clear to you, and you have to keep these informations in your mind. After that only the extensions are remaining, and you can just create some logical extensions and you will get the answers of the different questions. Look at this, how it is extended, logical extension. What I am saying, w is a function of x and y. So when you are doing this differentiation with the help of f, that means f is differentiated partially with respect to x, the same thing has to be done for y. This question must be there, because if f is a function of x only, then look at this, it is dw dx dx dt. This one is complete, but now here f is a function of x and y both. So the remaining part has to be there, and the remaining part is symmetrical, that is del f del y dy dt, because y is also a function of t only, where f is a function of x and y both. So this del f del y into dy dt will be the second term, and both of them together with will create dw dt. So now proceeding further, what we get, first of all, one example, that it is asked that we have to use the chain rule, that what we have learned just, to find the derivative of w is equal to xy. First of all, our observation is that w is equal to xy means w is represented with the help of x and y both. So it is a function of several variables. Here it is a function of two variables, x and y. Okay. So after getting this conclusion from this figure w is equal to xy, you got it in your mind that when you are trying to differentiate it, you need chain rule. Here the question is that with respect to t we have to differentiate. So obviously there is a relationship between x and t, and y and t, both of them are given to you, so that you can find out dx dt dy dt, and what is the derivatives value at t equal to pi by 2. So the solution is very simple. Important thing is to understand the question, and before proceeding the solution steps, you must make the thing clear in your mind, that what is asked, what are the things you have to use, how to proceed, where to go, how to go. So once all these questions are clear to you, then just remaining mere calculations are there. So we apply chain rule to find dw dt, and dw dt is already understood by us, that is going to be del w del x dx dt plus del w del y dy dt. And what is w? It is given x into y. So we are making del xy del x into d, x is cos t, so d dt of cos t. Similarly, del y of xy into ddt of sin t. So if after constructing this, your job is to only partial differentiate over here and total differentiation over here. So if you differentiate partially with respect to x, the term xy, y will be treated as a constant, so y will be kept outside and del x of x will be 1. Then ddt of cos t is equal to minus sin t. Similarly, del y of xy is x and ddt of sin t is cos t. So you see that here x and t and y all are coming. We have to convert it in terms of t only to make it easier, because our derivatives value at t equal to pi by 2 is asked. So in place of y, sin t, and in place of x, cos t is substituted in the next line, and the next line gives us minus sin square t plus cos square t, which is nothing but cos 2t. After getting this, if you substitute t equal to pi by 2 over here, you will get the desired value. Now I want to show you that there are some different approaches of the same problem. Same problem, but the approach is different. Obviously the answer will be same. So look at this. We can check the result with a more direct calculation, because it is a simple expression where it is applicable, where it is possible. So as w is equal to xy, we are substituting the value of x in terms of t and the expression of y in terms of t over here, that is cos t sin t, and after simplifying by 2, multiplying 2 and 1 by 2 to balance, we get 1 by 2 sin 2t, because sin 2t is equal to 2 sin t cos t. Now dw dt, it is now totally converted in terms of t. So w is a function of t and it becomes now a function of single variable. So obviously dw dt will be our previously known class 11-12 differentiation. So dw dt will be ddt of half sin 2t. Now after this, we will take this half common, half outside over here, and sin 2t will be 2 cos 2t. This 2 and this 2 will be cancelled out, we get cos 2t. Look at this, we are getting the same answer. There may be a question, then why we are learning this particular process? The answer is, it is possible for us to make this problem simpler by this direct calculation, substituting x and y over here. But in some cases, or in almost all cases, where the expression of w will be so much complicated with the help of x and y, if you want to substitute the expression of x in terms of t and y in terms of t over there, it will create a mess. Instead of that, the chain rule what we have learned today will be more effective on those problems. So in any cases, we get sin 2t, and ultimately our final result has to be calculated, that at t equal to pi by 2, what will be the value, and we have substituted t equal to pi by 2 in this expression, and we get cos pi is nothing but minus 1. So our job is done. So in the next case, we are having some information that how to remember this chain rule through a pictorial presentation. So if we want to find dw dt, we will start at w and read down each root to t, multiplying derivatives along the way, then add the product. So let us check this branch diagram. So w is equal to xy, this is our dependent variable w, and xy are independent variables. So what we are doing, we are differentiating partially with respect to x, so it is del w del x, and we are differentiating partially with respect to y, del w del y. So it is our intermediate step. As we have differentiated it with respect to x, we are writing it x, and we are differentiating this direction with respect to y, we are writing y over here. Now this x will be differentiated with respect to t dx dt, and this y will be differentiated with respect to t dy dt, because it is t over here, because x is a function of t, y is a function of t, w is a function of x and y, that is why w has two branches. X is a function of t only, y is a function of t only, so it is having one branch. Now dw dt, if we want to come from here to here directly, dw dt will be nothing but the product of this root. So this root comes here as del w del x into dx dt plus del w del y dy dt. So it is another representation of the chain rule, and it is also beneficial for us to keep it in our mind because we don't have to memorize. We will create this pictorial representation in our mind and we will recall whenever it is required. Now the extension is growing more, and what we are getting that in the previous case the function was a function of two variables x and y. Now it is a function of three variables x, y and z, and w is differentiable. X, y and z are differentiable functions of t, because in the previous case x and y is taken as a function of t. Here, as we are taking three independent variables x, y and z, we are also considering the all of them are functions of t. So what will be the expression for dw dt? Just think about the similar manner. W has three branches, x, y and z. So it will be del w del x, del w del y, del w del z. But x, y and z, all these three are with one branch, that is only t. So del w del x into dx dt plus del w del y into dy dt plus del w del z into dz. So this will be the chain rule of the functions for three independent variables, and you just, without having a little confusion, you will be confident of writing all these things, because if the second order extension is clear to you, then the higher order extension will be just similar, keeping the symmetry in the pattern. Now look at this, how we have to three roots over there. What I have stated in the previous case, it was x and y, now it is x, y and z. So similarly del w del x, del w del y, del w del z are coming. Then x, y, z are there, but x is a single variable function, y is a single variable function, z is a single variable function. So their representations with respect to differentiation with respect to t is like this, and then the product terms are coming, and after that they are summed up. So this is nothing but our desired dw dt, where w is a function of x, y and z, that means function of three variables. Now we are entering into the second example. The second example tells us that we have to find out again here dw dt, and the expression of w is not given in terms of t, it is given in terms of x, y and z. Clear? Where x is given in terms of t, y is given in terms of t, z is given in terms of t. Clear? So what is the thing? Just in the last slide, what we have learned, the chain rule for function of three variables, we have to apply this one over here. Now look at this, there is a reference that what is the representation of this particular thing. That is why I am showing all this pictorial representation of this particular surface. And what we see, that it is nothing but the helix. It is a helix pattern. We need this one because our requirement is that what is the derivatives value at t equal to 0. Yes, obviously after calculating the whole thing, if you put t equal to 0, you will get the result. But the problem is that until and unless you are becoming a master of making visual representations, then the learning is not up to that mark. So that is why we are always emphasizing on the pictorial representations of these particular functions, and after all, what is the representation for the differentiability and so on. So dw dt is equal to del w del x dx dt plus del w del y dy dt plus del w del z dz. Now nothing is basically remaining, because del w del x, here we can calculate w is equal to xy plus z. So if we differentiate partially with respect to x w, we will get y here, and this is 0. That is why it is y. Then dx dt obviously will be minus sin t. Similarly, del w del y, from this it is going to be x. Do it. You will get x is a constant, treated as a constant, taken outside, and y is partially differentiated with respect to y, so it will be 1. And if z is differentiated partially with respect to y, it will be 0. So only what we get this one. Now y is equal to sin t, because it is given, and there is minus sin t was the calculation for dx dt. Similarly, for x equal to cos t and cos t is there, and then plus 1 and plus 1, they are multiplied because del w del z and dz dt all are 1. Now what you see that it becomes minus sin square t plus cos square t plus 1. That is 1 plus cos 2t. Cos 2t is sin square cos square t minus sin square t. Here. Now the question is that we have to find out the value of dw dt at t equal to 0. So after getting this expression of dw dt, what is remaining? The remaining thing is to substitute perfectly the value of t in this equation. So if we substitute the value of t in this equation, what we get? dw dt is equal to, at t tends to 0 obviously, is equal to 1 plus cos theta. Cos 0 will be there because we need here t equal to 0. So cos 0 is 1. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So what is waiting for us? Another theorem. It is also the extension of chain rule, and this is also very important. First of all, you have to emphasize on the given condition. That means what is the type of that function here? If it is several variable function, okay, but how many variables are there? If there any interrelationship of the independent variables or not, because in the previous cases you see that w is a function of x and y, where x is a function of t and y is a function of t. So x and t are x and y are related. Now what this theorem tells us, that chain rule for 2 independent variables and 3 intermediate variables. So number of independent variables are 2, but the intermediate variables are 3. So how to represent this one? So look at this, we are assuming that a w is equal to f of x, y, z, and x is a function of r and s, y is a function of r and s, z is a function of r and s. Means you can imagine this in this manner, that w is equal to x plus y plus z, okay, function of several variables with 3 variables, where x is equal to r square plus s square, y is equal to r into s, and z is equal to r sine inverse s. Suppose what you see, that the intermediate variables are having explicit expressions with obviously some difficulty. So then w has partial derivatives with respect to r and s given as, because if it is asked del w del r is equal to del w del x into dx dr, please try to identify the same thing we are getting here. Del w del r is del w del x into dx dr plus y is present, so del w del y into del y del r plus z is present, so it will be del w del z del z del r. So there is no need to memorize anything, just you need to find out the symmetry between one formula to another formula. Clear? Now similarly, as w is a function of xy and z, and xy and z are function of r and s, so del w del s will be del w del x del x del s. Look at this, the pattern will be same, just only in place of r, this r is replaced by s. So del w del x del x del s plus del w del y del s plus del w del z ds del z del s. Okay, so this is the structure of this chain rule. Now here also we can make this thing more clear by this branching representation, and this branching representation tells us that if we have a dependent variable w, look at this, it is our dependent variable, it is also a dependent variable, it is also a dependent variable, and after that if the intermediate variables are 3, what is given over here, that intermediate variables are 3, so x, y, z are the intermediate variables, and the independent variables are 2, that means they are going for r and s. Clear? Now how to, this is a representation of w. Now del w del r del w del s, we have to keep it in our mind according to the structural representation of this branching method. So what we get, if w is equal to xyz, where del w del x del w del y and del w del z are calculated, but del w del x del w del z and del z del w del z, these values are communicated to the person who is in the charge of a specific department. Now del W del R is equal to del W del X del R plus del W del Y del R plus del W del Z del R. Please give a strong attention over here that how to keep this formula in our mind. We have to keep it from symmetry, not by memorization. And if you are confident on del W del R, del W del S is nothing but the symmetrical identical representation, just R is replaced by S. So now what we get, another example, and this example is asking us that we have to represent del W del R and del W del S in terms of R and S. So look at this, where W is represented in terms of X, Y and Z, X is represented in terms of RS, Y is represented in terms of RS, and Z is also represented in terms of RS. You can ask where is S? It is nothing but 2 into R into S to the power 0. So the formula in the last slide gives us that del W del R is equal to del W del X del R plus del W del Y del R plus del W del Z del R. Because please remember, here W is a function of X, Y and Z, where X is a function of R and S, Y is a function of R and S, Z is a function of R and S. So what you see, that there are intermediate variables are 3 and the independent variables are 2, and the required chain rule is like this structure, that del W del R is this. After writing the structure, basically there is nothing left. We can see that del W del X can be calculated from here. So it will be 1 plus 0 plus 0, so it is 1. And then del X del R is nothing but 1 by S, because 1 by S will be treated as a constant, and if you differentiate R with respect to R, it will be 1. So it is 1 into 1 by S. After that, del W del Y, that means from here we can get 2, and del W del Y del R, from this part del Y del R will be 2R. So it is 2R, because it is S, it will be treated as a constant and it will not be considered in the partial differentiation, it will be contributing 0. And then del W del Z, and del W del Z from this part will be 2Z, and then del Z del R is 2. So after simplifying this, we get 1 by S plus 4R plus 2Z into 2, that is 4R into 2. Why it is 4R? Because we are taking it from this part. 2Z means 2 into R, that is 4R into 2. There is 1 by S plus 12R. Now you can ask that why we are converting this, because look at the question. It is asked that we have to express del W del R and del W del S in terms of R and S. That is why this Z is substituted with the help of this in terms of R and S. Okay. In the similar manner, we have to find out del W del S. So del W del X is 1, but del X del S will be what? Look at this. X is equal to R by S. So if you want to find out del X del S, obviously you have to treat R as a constant, so I am taking it R. Now it is 1 by S. 1 by S means S to the power minus 1. S to the power minus 1 after differentiating with respect to S will be minus 1 S to the power minus 2. That is 1 by S square with a minus sign. So ultimately we get it as minus R by S square. Okay. That is why it is written as minus R by S square. So I think it is clear. Similarly, del Y del S will be calculated from here. So R square will be contributing 0 and log S will be going converting after differentiation as 1 by S. That is why it is 1 by S. And finally del Z del R and del Z del S from this part, and as there is no component of S over here, del Z del S will be 0. So after simplifying, we get that it is 2 by s minus r by s square. 2 by s minus r by s square. So this is our answer. So problems are not difficult. Problems, in sometimes you may see that little lengthy, but the problems are easy only when you are confident in the pattern of writing the chain rule rules. Now we are getting one more thing. If we have a function of two variables instead of three variables, where each equation in theorem 7 becomes correspondingly one term shorter, because we have already done this, meaning done this thing in the bigger format. But what we see that here intermediate variables are also 2 and independent variables are also 2. So the first of all, the diagram will be like this. There are going for 2, and then x is coming as del x del s, del x del r, and del y del s. So what we can write that w is a function of x and y, where x is a function of r and s and y is a function of r and s. In the previous case, it was w is a function of x, y, z, where x is a function of r and s, y is a function of r and s, and z is a function of r and s. But what we see here, only two variables are considered. Now, del w del r will be of this formula, and del w del s will be of this formula. Now, this is the diagram, branch diagram already discussed. So another example we can discuss on this particular problem. W is represented in terms of x and y, and the expression is x square plus y square, where x is equal to r minus s and y is equal to r plus s. So if we want to find out del w del r and del w del s, then the formula are coming from this particular structure, symmetrical structure. After that, the thing is very easy, that our job is to find out the value of these partial differentiations in this manner, and we will get this 4r and 4s. We are not discussing it elaborately because these are nothing but the easiest calculations of partial derivatives in this particular part. So if we want to solve one more problem in this regard, then we can go for a problem like this. So suppose u is given as root over xy, and it is asked that find the value of, or you should say expression of del 2u del x2 plus del 2u del y. Clear? So how to proceed? Simple problem. U is equal to xy to the power half. Del u del x, del 2u del x2, for this calculation we need first del u del x. So as it is a function of several variables x and y, we can write it as del u del x is equal to half xy to the power half minus 1, that is minus half, and the differentiation of xy with respect to x, that is y. So del 2u del x2, we know that it is nothing but del x of del u del x, and del x of del u del x, that means we have to differentiate this thing with respect to x partially, and what we see that this half will be as it was, and this minus half will be coming. Please check, it is y to the power minus half and it is y to the power 1. So ultimately what you get, if you just want to break this line and then want to calculate this one, then also you will get that it is going to be half into minus half, then y square into xy to the power minus 3 by 2. Okay, Now you can simplify this, and after simplifying you will get something like that: minus 1 by 4 y square xy to the power minus 3 by 2. Now as this is a symmetrical form of the function xy, so we can write it as del 2u del y2 will be also minus 1 by 4. In place of y it will be x, it will be x square. In place of y it will be x, so xy will be remaining as xy to the power minus 3 by 2. So if we add them, then our result will be coming as minus 1 by 4, then x square plus y square. Because these things are common, we can take them outside, xy to the power minus 3 by 2. So finally we can write it as minus x square plus y square root over xy whole cube. Because it is xy to the power minus 3 by 2, it can be written as in this form, and obviously along with the coefficient 1 by 4. Clear? So these are the simple techniques what we have to adopt for solving these types of problems. So finally we are in the last part of the class, and here there are some assignments for you. Please solve those problems along with the other problems given in the textbooks, and these are the references we have used for preparing this material. And finally I want to thank you all for listening this class. Happy listening, happy learning.